It's not real often in this course that I take my teacher hat off and I put on my parent hat. But I wanted to share my own story about school choice because I can see both sides of it as a teacher. When I was teaching in the public schools for 14 years, I was in quality schools. Over the course of my 14 years, I was in 3 different buildings, and I worked with amazing teachers and administrators. And honestly, at that point in my career, surrounded by the teachers that I worked with, I would never have said that children needed to attend any school other than a public school. I did teach at excellent schools that could meet the needs of any learner. But over the course of being a parent, I ran into challenges in public schools. And with my own daughters, all 3 of them, found times where I didn't feel like the school was meeting their needs and explored other options for them. Now, to be completely honest, I never pulled my kiddos from their school, but I wanted to share their stories and just explain to you that these options are very important to parents. And honestly, you have choices as teachers. You have choices as to what kind of quality schools you want to teach in, whether it be a public school or a private school or a charter school or a facilitator within a private a cyber school. There's so many options for you these days as teachers, and that's amazing. And it's amazing for you, but it's amazing to our students to have this many quality options out there. So I want to share just what goes on with my own kiddos and why I feel like they could benefit from different school choice options. I'm going to start with my middle daughter on the left. She right now is a gymnast. She trains about 25 to 30 hours a week, and she can't fit in a full day of school and a full day of practice and maintain the quality of education that we want her to have, because even though gymnastics is probably her first priority, she knows education is the top priority in her life, behind her family, of course. But what we found since right now she's in 6th grade, but starting from the time she was in 4th grade, she started cybering her afternoons. And the way her gym works, she's allowed to have a different options for practice. So she spends half a day at school and she spends half a day at the gym. And then anything she misses at school, she completes in the cyber program that's put together by her school district. And so it's very nice and cohesive. The teachers still get a chance to meet with her when she does the cyber work, and she has one common person that is her main go-to person, but it works excellent for her. There are a lot of girls in her gym that do full cyber. Some of them do it through independent cyber companies, and others do it through their school district, so they can kind of jump in and out of school when they need to. But there's a lot of options out there for kiddos that are athletes, children that get sick, children that are being bullied and want to leave, for partial or full cyber options through their public school district. So for my daughter, this is the best option for us because it allows her to have school time, gym time, and still family time every day. My oldest daughter in the middle does attend high school at a public school. She's extremely bright and is a very unique learner. She thinks out of the box. A lot of times I feel like traditional classrooms and learning are just too dull for her, especially things like projects. Everything is so universal, and she just could excel in a different program. So although they are meeting her needs, she's the perfect candidate for Unschool. And you're going to learn more about Unschool as we go through. But Unschool is probably the least traditional, most open-ended program you can possibly have as a school option. And kids that are very motivated to learn on their own, have a very high desire to succeed and excel. And honestly, you have to be very bright to be a good unschooling candidate. Now, my last little girl is a 3rd grader. She is different than my other 2. First of all, her birthday's in October, So she's young. She ended up skipping kindergarten. I homeschooled her for kindergarten, and then they didn't accept that in her school district as real. I guess you can't really homeschool in kindergarten in the state of Pennsylvania if you're not the right age. But she had the skills. She was actually high achieving, probably toward the end of first grade during that year that I homeschooled her for kindergarten. So she skipped right into first grade. That being said, although she's very bright, she has a vision processing disorder that's pretty severe. And we just found out she was diagnosed with ADHD in a very, very unique, small niche of ADHD where you don't know they're not paying attention and they don't know they're not paying attention. But for those reasons, even though she's very bright, she's all over the place in her learning. Some days she excels and some days she can't give you an answer of anything. And so although she is in a public school in third grade, doing well, and with a phenomenal teacher, if I had to choose for her, I would probably choose a magnet school with a focus in either arts or drama, or just a program that specializes in students with learning disabilities that allow them to learn in a very untraditional way. She thinks outside the box. I'm not sure if that's her disability or her intelligence, but everything that is normal, she shies away from. And she's kind of an eccentric learner. So I think there was probably be a school option out there in the form of a magnet school, possibly a private school, where she could really just exceed the boundaries of normal learning and show her excellence in a different way. So that's my own story. Like I said, all my girls are in public school with the sub or option going on for my middle daughter. But it's really important for parents to have this choice because each child is different and schools and teachers offer different strengths. And for that regular learner, public school is always a solid option. But for anyone who is has some sort of difference that puts them outside the norm, there's probably an option out there that will meet their needs in an easier way. Even though most teachers can do this, there just might be a more natural fit for them. So it's good that parents have options. And if you have any questions, post them on Facebook.